My name's Keith Vance. I'm a personal injury trial lawyer. I have been helping those who've been harmed through no fault of their own for over 27 years as a lawyer. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about what's going to happen between the time that you hire us and when we might have to file a lawsuit on your behalf. And we're going to call this the pre-litigation stage of your case. The pre-litigation stage starts with investigation. We investigate your case. We will get information from all sources available, starting with the police crash report or anything that documents the injury event. We'll be getting photographs, body-worn camera, maybe data from your car through the event data recorder. Have it downloaded, have it analyzed by an expert. We're going to be looking at your medical records. We're going to be looking at the diagnostic scans on you. We're going to be figuring out how bad you're hurt and whose fault it is. We're also going to be looking at insurance. Insurance on maybe the vehicle that hit you or the person responsible for causing you your harms and losses, your damages, because we want you to get full justice in this case. Most cases settle in the pre-litigation stage of the case. But in the event that we don't get full justice in your case, we're going to want to file a lawsuit. And that's discussed in another video, what happens in the litigation phase. But in this video, I just want to talk about what typically happens if we don't file a lawsuit. So we start out investigating, and while we're investigating, you're in the treatment phase. We want you to get better. We want you to recover from your injuries. But we also need to document your injuries. Because at the end of the day, we're expected to put on evidence of your harms and losses and how this has affected you on a personal level to not only the insurance company involved, but if we can't settle the case, to a judge and jury. So we're going to be expecting you to get the treatment that you need. And we're going to help you with that. The best chiropractors, the best physical therapists, the best orthopedic surgeons, the best brain injury specialists, whatever is required in your case, we will help you get that sort of care because we want you to get better. Now, after you're finished treating, the treatment phase is over, the doctor has released you to live your life, whether it be at full recovery or not at full recovery. We then get into what's called the records phase. And we're going to gather all your medical records and all your medical bills and anything that sheds light on your damages. Now, what I mean by damages is a legal term, but it means the value of your harms and losses, okay? And the law breaks them down into three little categories. The first category is economic damages. That's usually a pretty easy one to get a handle on. That's your medical bills and maybe your wage loss and anything out of pocket. Anything you can put a price tag on, that's your economic damages. If the case goes to trial, the jury will be expected to fill in a box that has a number for your economic damages. The insurance companies also consider it the same way. The next one is non-economic damages. Now, these are things that have significant value, but they don't come with a price tag. These are things like your pain and suffering, your loss of enjoyment of life, your difficulty, your grief, your inconvenience. The whole thing has been super inconvenient. Having to go to doctors, having to recover, having to miss important events in your life. The human damages, the things that we live for, the things we want to do with our families and for our own personal enjoyment and our loved ones. The third category of damages is impairment. Now that's if something doesn't completely heal. You've got a permanent restriction or limitation on what you might be able to do or what you might be able to do without pain. Or maybe your body is just altered anatomically. Maybe you've got a plate or a screw in your shoulder or your neck or your back. Anything that is a permanent injury, that goes into a permanent impairment damages. We're going to educate the insurance company after we gather all the information about what your damages are. So once we have that information, we move into what's called the demand preparation phase of your case, where we put it all together. We will be talking to your friends and your family and you, and of course looking at all the medical records to put together a settlement packet for consideration by the insurance company. We send that off to the insurance company and we give them a certain time by which they must respond. Usually they will offer something to compensate you for your harms and losses, to give you some justice. And we're in this next phase, which is negotiation. We may negotiate and go back and forth a little bit. We may, have to look at things a little bit differently. They may have to look at things a little bit differently. Because if we're going to reach an agreement, we're going to have a negotiation that's productive, everybody needs to bend a little bit. But we're not going to bend too far. We're looking for full justice in your case. Full justice means, well, for instance, if this coffee cup represented justice and it was full to the top, that's full justice. We're not going to accept half justice because that's no justice at all. And we don't want the cup running over. So we want full justice. If the insurance company will offer something really close to full justice, we may recommend that you settle the case. And if you settle the case in the pre-litigation stage, it doesn't go into a lawsuit. That's a good thing. But it has to be for full justice. So once we're in the negotiation phase, maybe we reach an agreement. And we settle the case. Now we're in the settlement phase. And in the settlement phase, we have to make sure that everyone walks away from the case fully paid and square. Make sure your medical bills are paid, make sure the attorney's paid, make sure the expenses are paid. If we hired any experts, we got to make sure they're paid. And then we got to make sure, most importantly, you're paid. Once we reach a settlement, the case is over. We'll close things out after everybody's made whole, after everything's square, and we've wrapped your case up, and hopefully you'll be happy, we'll be happy, everybody's content with the justice that we've provided. I hope this has helped. This is what could happen if we don't have to file a lawsuit. If we do have to file a lawsuit, then there's going to be a litigation stage of your case, and I'll discuss that in another video. If you have any questions, give us a call. We'll answer them. We'll talk to you. We're not off limits. We're very hands-on, and we want to make sure that you're informed and you understand all your rights and all your responsibilities so we can make this the best experience possible for you. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it.